Hey guys, and welcome back. So, I wanted to do a bit of a vlog discussing about today's look, along with a few tips and tricks that are all from my repertoire. So, this Alice in Wonderland look was inspired by the Wet n Wild collection that just recently came out. However, I didn't get the palette because I have a few already that have the same reminiscent of colors. I would have gotten it if it was more for the nostalgic purposes, but for today I used the new Profusion Dreamscape palette by using the colors Cloud 9, Dreamy, Realm, Rapture, and Surreal, along with Tranquility. So this color, those two, these two, and this one. And then for the lid, I use a little bit of my Profusion Holographic Prismatic Chrome eyeshadow in Zen. And then topping it off with here it is, my eyeshadow shocker from ColourPop in the shade Frog, which is like this pink that has a beautiful iridescent finish to it. Like, look at that. That is beautiful. So, one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about was a few questions that get brought up at work when it comes to my makeup, especially my techniques. Seeing as how it's actually gotten better now. Of course, I am using the Glam and Bold filter just because I like the way it really kind of makes the makeup look. But as you can see, it really doesn't change the effects of everything, except just kind of proportions my face a little bit better. As far as makeup application, I always tell my customers that brushes or sponges are all personal preferences. It all depends on what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. Me personally, recently I've been using powder puffs. You're probably going to think this is crazy, but I saw Trixie Mattel talking about these, and even though I have a big one that I use specifically just for the powder, I thought, what if I tried using this for foundation? So I just slapped my foundations on these. What I love about it is it doesn't really like absorb the product. It holds on to it really nicely. The coverage that you get really cuts down on time, along with just lightly trying to get down here, or if you're someone that does like any body makeup, which I don't yet, probably never will. It just really kind of helps to finish things off, and plus like the texture, so to speak, of it really helps to give it a real flawless finish, in my opinion. And then just using a smaller one for when I do like my concealer, and I think they work really nicely, in my opinion. I mean, I've been doing this for like the last 5 makeup applications, and really you can't tell me that this doesn't look that great. I mean, for the first time in a while, I can look in the mirror and it doesn't look like it's caked on or it's not overly powdered. I also did try the technique where after you set your powder, your foundation with powder, and then going over with a setting spray, which I used this hydrating fix spray from Revolution, it kind of melts the powder back into the skin to make it look more skin-like. But this has been probably one of my better applications in the wild, especially when I've had a lot of people compliment this purple. That's that Tranquility as the crease color, and then buffing it out with Cloud 9 and Dreamy to really kind of give it this Alice in Wonderland reminiscence, just because I kind of thought if you're doing Alice, it's going to have a lot of pastels, a lot of brightness, a lot of cheerfulness. Oh, one of the things I did try out today was mixing my blush hour from these Profusion Cosmetics in Baleen and Matai. So one of them is like a real bright peachy one, and one of them is a real brownish nude. When I mixed these two together, they created like that perfect, almost like a universal nude, in my opinion. And then I just kind of topped it off with a little bit of my Blush 3 palette from Profusion and just the slightest of my Revolution blush in the shade Sweet, just to kind of top off the cheeks to give it a more nudish approach. But this has probably been one of my most favorite applications thus far. Oh, and also at Dollar Tree, my husband showed me these little finger applicator or beauty sponges that you could just kind of slide your finger in. I kind of use this for my eyeshadow primer and then the bridge of my nose with a bit of a white concealer just to really hone it in a little bit. Tomorrow I'm gonna try doing something that's a little more subdued, something that's not all this. I want to try to tone it down just a smidgen to test myself to do something that's not always me. But oh, another question that gets brought up at work a few times. Now, a lot of people would probably think this is a personal question. I didn't mind because I am an open book. I've had some people ask me if I ever planned on transitioning. To answer that, no. I'm starting to learn to love myself both as my guy and feminine sides. I'm loving the fact that I can kind of enhance my masculinity with just a slight amount of makeup, especially when it's just the brows. It makes me feel more confident as a guy having a good set of brows going out during the day. And then being able to go from that to this. I'm proud of who I am as a person, who I am as an artist, and who I am as a potential influencer or spokesperson, I guess. I love how you guys also compliment how I keep it real. I see no point in putting pretty words on something when you need to have somebody that's going to be honest, somebody who's going to be open. And especially if you're trying to do makeup reviews, you can't be afraid to say, well, to a brand, this isn't exactly a good product, because you never know how, if that brand is going to be able to make it better or take the criticism. And plus, as I always say, with every makeup application or with any makeup, you will have a different experience because everyone has their own different body chemistries. Everyone is built differently. Some people are super sensitive because of fragrances. It's all a learning curve. Makeup to me is all about trial and error. It's all about the chemistry of finding what makes you you. And this has been a 9-year work in progress that is, that is still going on and works beautifully regardless. And, I'm very humbled at the feedback that you guys give me, and I'm very grateful for the love and support that you give. And even though I don't respond back always, but I like making these videos and always thanking you guys for the help, the criticism, the compliments, and everything else. And I can't thank you guys enough for growing practically all 3 of my channels to where I'm practically over 1,000 subscribers altogether. It's crazy to think, but we're here, we're all having fun, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow for this next little subdued look, and then we will see where we go from there. But until then, love you guys.